Last time on Dragon Ball Super, the universe is safe. After the battle against Broly, Goku and Vegeta realize that there are battles out there they must face together. Meanwhile, Trunks has gotten used to his new reality, slowly accepting his new life. He decides to visit the Z-Fighters, updating them on his situation. This time, he has brought plenty of fuel for the time machine, courtesy of his new alternate Bulma. Goku and Vegeta are excited for their future adventures, unaware that their next adventure will take place in the past. Return to a doomed planet. What if Goku and Vegeta went back in time?
Goku and Vegeta looked up to the sky, eating their lunch. Chi-Chi had packed both of them a delicious meal to enjoy after some training at the lookout. Popo and Dende caught up with them, as the god and his friend observed Earth from above. Seldom did Goku and the rest visit up there anymore. It was good to have them. Even Piccolo had begun to travel around the world like he did before. But their conversations were interrupted when Vegeta got a phone call from Bulma. He tried to pick it up, but the call dropped immediately. Apparently, there wasn't good service at the lookout. Vegeta shrugged it off, and the two finished eating, saying goodbye, and speeding off home. It was already pretty late by the time Vegeta got home. Bulma was waiting for him, sipping tea on the living room. Though she tried to ask him why he wasn't answering his phone, Vegeta walked past her and towards the bathroom to take a shower. However, as he reached for the door swung open. Vegeta's eyes darted up to meet a familiar face, Trunks. His hair was long, though he wore similar clothes to the ones he had seen him in last. No doubt it had been a few years for Trunks. Trunks' hair was wet, having just taken a shower after a long trip from the future. The two smiled at each other. Knowing no one was around, Vegeta hugged his son. Trunks was a little surprised, but then he heard the click from a camera flash. Without even looking back, Vegeta blasted the camera right off of Bulma's hand. His wife was indignant, but they all settled down in the living room.
Huh, so this is my baby sister. She's adorable.
Yes, her name is Bra. I don't know where Trunks is, but he's probably out with Goten. Why did you decide to come here?
I wanted to visit you and Mom for a while. Thank you all for helping me. I've finally gotten used to the new life in the new universe. I even brought a cake that Maya and I baked for Whis and Beerus. Though, they probably wouldn't be happy with me visiting again.
Trunks smiled, signaling over to the cake sitting on top of the dining room table. Far away, Beerus and Whis overheard about the cake and already begun to teleport to Earth. Bulma told Trunks that there was no need for thanks, but Trunks insisted. The family began to talk about what's been going on, with Vegeta telling Trunks about him and Kakarot being hunted by the ghost of their past in the form of Broly and Paragus, as well as the events of the Tournament of Power.
So, after all my work, Goku decided to bring back Frieza anyways?
Trust me, I said the same thing, but things have been relatively quiet since.
Well, how did that Broly guy survive the explosion of Vegeta?
Your grandfather, God rest his soul, exiled him to a different planet because he was more powerful than me as a baby. My father wasn't the brightest, if I'm being honest. So many mistakes made.
With that story, Trunks' mind sparked. Looking out the window to the time machine, he thought of something. Trunks then glimpsed at his father, solemnly.
Father, I don't know much about Planet Vegeta, but if you could have saved your people...
No, Trunks, I would not. Without those events, I would not have met your mother, or had you, or saved the universe with Kakarot.
Trunks quieted down for a second, but looked back out.
What if it wasn't your Planet Vegeta, but a Planet Vegeta, an opportunity to visit a version of it? One last time.
Vegeta stepped towards the window, looking at the night sky. He hadn't thought about it. He didn't really miss anything, but it feels like he never really got a chance to. Maybe it would be nice. Vegeta smirked, and Trunks smiled, sprinting off to start up the time machine. Bulma was worried and tried to stop them for a second, but Vegeta assured her that they would be back in a flash. But before then, he had to call up his rival. Before he knew it, Goku teleported to Trunks and Vegeta. The three struggled to fit inside, but in a flash of light, the time machine had set course to old Planet Vegeta. Just as Beerus and Whis arrived to eat their cake, Whis realized what had occurred, shaking his head. Once more, playing with time. They had warned him about this. Back with the Saiyans, they soon arrived at Planet Vegeta. They had landed far away from civilization, thankfully. They surely needed some form of disguises, something that would cover their bottom, as not to show the lack of tail. Trunks also needed a hood, since his hair was so different from the other Saiyans. After zipping up their jackets, the team headed out to a small Saiyan village.
Ah, so this is where our folks used to live, huh, Vegeta?
Ha! As if my father would ever come down to the slums.
Vegeta smirked, pointing upwards towards the castle, looking over the cliff.
I'm sure your family is here, but mine is there.
Goku was in awe, but he felt something grab his arm. It was a short Saiyan man in a lab coat.
Ah, Professor, you're a great scientist. You shouldn't be exposed to the low class. I've got the injured taken care of.
Goku was being pushed back towards a ship, but he simply teleported over to his friends, leaving the Saiyan doctor confused. The three headed into the village, where it looked as if many Saiyans were just returning home. Goku looked around curiously, but many were giving him funny looks. Vegeta was a little uncomfortable, seeing just how the low class lived in comparison to him. Much more poverty. But Goku wandered off towards the smell of food, walking towards a butchery. There was wonderful meats everywhere he looked. A large curtain was in the back, and Goku was sure that that's where they kept the best meat. Goku swung the curtain open, but there was no meat there. Instead, there was an incubator with a familiar baby inside.
Kakarot?
Goku turned around, thinking Vegeta had just called out his name. But he met the eyes of not Vegeta, but a different Saiyan, a Saiyan that had his hand pointed at him. A green orb of ki lit up the entire room to reveal a woman behind the man, a woman that looked as if she wanted to kill Goku.
Who are you, one of King Vegeta's goons? Kakarot isn't ready to leave for a mission yet. I know what you all did to Paragus' son a few years back. I'm not letting you send my son off before he's ready.
Goku glanced back at the incubator, putting two and two together. Goku may not have been the smartest, but he wasn't a complete idiot.
Yes, I'm a scientist for King Vegeta. I'm not taking him. I'm just checking his power level.
Checking his power level without a scouter?
Damn it, I forgot they can't just sense ki. Yeah, because when you showed up, the scouter exploded. Old model, you know how they are. Who are you?
I'm Bardock, and this is my wife, Gine. We're Kakarot's parents there, and also Raditz's. He's with the prince right now. I'm sure you know him.
Goku laughed awkwardly, moving towards the exit of the butchery. He said that, of course he knew Raditz, a wonderful kid, and Goku was gone. Bardock and Gine looked at each other confused, but closed the curtain behind them. Bardock had something to talk to Gine about. Goku did become curious, lowering his power level to be undetectable. He floated over to the curtain and listened in. Bardock told Gine about how he suspected Frieza was going to kill the Saiyan race, and how he wanted to save his son. Goku's face dropped. He looked sadly at the ground. It had been thanks to these two that he was spared. Apparently, not all the Saiyans were heartless monsters like his brother and Nappa. Well, Vegeta had proven that long ago. Just as the curtain opened back up, Goku teleported away to Vegeta and Trunks. While Goku had been snooping around the lower levels, Vegeta and Trunks had gone up to the castle. They looked in from their stained glass window at the king pacing back and forth inside the castle. He whispered to himself about the Super Saiyan legend and how Frieza was so scared of him. He seemed to be going a little crazy under the pressure of the tyrant. Vegeta didn't like seeing him like this. As soon as the king retreated back to his quarters, Trunks and Vegeta zoomed inside. The guards were none the wiser as they moved too fast for them to ever see. Vegeta went straight towards his room. On his way there, he had to go through the dining room, remembering back to how Beerus stepped on his father like he was nothing. Once Vegeta entered his room, he looked around nostalgically. The room was nearly empty, with just a bed and some weights. He recalled the time when he had to decorate Trunks' room similarly to his own, but Bulma insisted on making it more colorful, which Vegeta ended up liking a lot. When Trunks caught up to his dad, he was a little surprised to see the gray room. Before he could say anything, Vegeta turned back around and walked out. He liked going through the old castle and explained many things to Trunks, including pointing out the paintings of the great-grandfathers and kings. Suddenly, the sound of Goku's teleportation echoed through the hall.
Damn it, Kakarot!
Vegeta, we have to do something.
Who goes there?
King Vegeta had stepped into the room and was staring directly at Vegeta. Vegeta let go of Goku. Trunks looked down at his father, who turned away from the king.
Prince Vegeta? Huh. Your son is no older than 10. How could I be him?
King Vegeta was a little insulted, but in reality, Vegeta knew that he had lost track of just how long it had been since he'd last seen his son.
Get the hell out of my castle!
Vegeta shrugged, and the three sped out towards the window, shattering the glass. King Vegeta was angry, telling the guards to follow them. The Saiyan soldiers were quick to the team's tail, but Goku and the rest didn't want to hurt them. But they were given no choice when they shot a blast to Trunks. Though he dodged it, the blast created an explosion in the shipyard by hitting a space pod, using a godbind on the pair of guards that caused them to fall to the ground powerless. Goku and Vegeta returned to the time machine, where Goku finally got to talk to the pair.
We need to do something. All these people are gonna die.
Goku, we can't mess with time. I've already created more trouble than I should have.
The kid's right, Kakarot.
Well, I'm not just gonna sit by knowing everyone here's gonna die. I heard my father and mother talking. They sound like good people.
Goku.
The Saiyans, Kakarot, they're not good people.
Are they any worse than Frieza? Gohan tried to explain this to me once, but you came from a different timeline, which ended up changing ours into a safer one than yours, right?
Yes, but
Then doesn't that mean we might create a new timeline if we save this one?
I guess I did say something like that before we came here. But
Trunks.
I guess we can save this one reality's planet Vegeta.
Goku and Vegeta smiled and nodded. Vegeta felt strange about all of this as night fell. Vegeta and Trunks went to sleep, but Goku sneaked out, following Bardock's key signature. He made sure to stay far away, but he was able to see how his mother and father sent him off to planet Earth. It was a little painful to hear Gine's cries, and Bardock telling him to survive. Goku followed his own spaceship with his eyes until it was gone. Goku sighed, but smiled lightly, thinking back to his grandfather, and how he met him not long after this happened.
Hey kids, don't go away. We'll be right back. And now back to our show.
Vegeta explained to them that it took a whole month for all the Saiyans to get back to planet Vegeta, and said that him and the others ignored orders. Vegeta, Trunks, and Goku decided to go ahead and go a month into the future, but before that, Goku watched as Bardock went around various Saiyans trying to warn them about Frieza, that they could stop him if they teamed up, but nobody believed him. Goku clenched his fist as he got onto the time machine. Once they appeared again, they saw how a giant Frieza ship hovered over planet Vegeta. They had planned getting ready for a second, but Goku saw Bardock and a handful of Saiyans blast off towards Frieza's ship. The team instantly rushed along with them. Bardock and the others were surprised, especially with Vegeta being there. He was obviously part of the royal family, or at least an elite.
Who are you three?
We're friends.
Without further explanation, the team of Saiyans embraced themselves for the attack of the Frieza Force. From every angle, aliens attacked them. The Z-Fighters had an easy time with them, but they made sure to watch their power level as to not alert the other Saiyans too much. Even so, they were able to beat down the soldiers easily. Bardock felt something familiar with Goku, and the two finished off the first wave of fighters with a final blast, back to back. Bardock smirked at Goku, but it wasn't over. The next wave was comprised of stronger fighters, including Zarbon, Dodoria, and the Ginyu Force. The Z-Fighters cursed out loud. They definitely had to use more power. The Saiyans were shaking in fear in front of the soldiers. But Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, and even Bardock stood tall. Burter flashed forward to punch Bardock in the face, but the blue alien was surprised to see Goku, who caught his fist. In an instant, Goku slammed Burter against Jaice, while Trunks sliced through Goldo and Recoome. Vegeta fired a big bang attack at Zarbon and Dodoria. Now it was just Ginyu, but the coward tried to switch bodies with Goku. This time, Goku knew the trick. When the beam pushed his way, Goku teleported, and instead, Ginyu switched bodies with another Frieza soldier. The confusion allowed Bardock to kill Ginyu with a spirit cannon. Finally, Frieza rose up from his ship, clearly upset about the situation. Without saying a word, he lifted one finger up and threw a sphere down them. Frieza didn't laugh. He was not amused. He wanted them dead. The Saiyans felt helpless, as some yelled out in fear. Bardock tried to blast at the sphere, but Goku put his hand on Bardock's arm, telling him to put it down. Some way somehow, Bardock knew to trust them. He disengaged, and the three Saiyans stepped towards the sphere. It looked as if it consumed them whole. Bardock closed his eyes, accepting death, thinking about his two sons and his wife. But he heard a deep scream, and felt a wave of air push him back. When he opened his eyes, the sphere was gone, and in its place was a huge golden aura that engulfed the three strangers. Every scouter around them exploded, including Frieza's. His mouth dropped open as soon as he saw the three, who had destroyed his ki ball with just their auras. Frieza knew what this was, though he didn't want to accept it.
No, 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 no! This can't be real! The legend was nothing but that, a legend! There is no way there's a real Super Saiyan, let alone three!
Super Saiyan?
Bardock's heart skipped a beat at the realization that the legend was true. Of course, Goku and the others didn't need to transform to beat this version of Frieza, but they did want to instill both hope into the Saiyans and fear into Frieza. The Tyrant transformed into his final form, blasting the three with multiple death beams, though Goku and Trunks deflected each of them while moving towards Frieza. Vegeta was the one in the middle, who simply dodged them. Vegeta said to leave this to him. Goku and Trunks stepped away, and Vegeta smirked. He let his power fall to match Frieza, and even told him to go all the way to 100%. Frieza felt ridiculed, but he did so, and the battle started between the two, with Vegeta limiting himself in order to have a fair fight.
How can such power be real?
Oh, this is nothing. Vegeta's just playing with him, trust me. If you and the other Saiyans train some more, anything is possible.
Goku glanced over at the planet.
Just use it for good once Frieza's done with. At least a planet Vegeta will be saved.
Bardock simply stared at Goku, then back at the fight. When Frieza threatened to blow up the planet again, Vegeta decided it was enough.
This is for the Saiyan race, for Earth, and for me! What?
Vegeta disappeared out of sight and appeared in front of Frieza with a hand on the tyrant's chest.
Big Bang Attack!
The key ball started out small, pushing Frieza upwards towards a star before expanding and exploding, leaving no trace of the villain. It was over. The three heroes returned back to their base form, and without saying a word, headed back down to the surface. When they returned down, the king welcomed them, mostly jealous about the legend of Super Saiyan being true, and not being himself who achieved it. He was shaking a little. He tried to get them detained for a second, because he knew something was up. But Vegeta just laughed, as none of the soldiers were willing to approach them. Vegeta simply turned to his father and said,
Broly and his father, you should really apologize to them sometime, King.
Vegeta continued walking away from the crowd, until the king shouted that they would have a great feast in their honor. This made the three Saiyans stop, and agreed to stay a little longer. They stayed until morning, but Bardock was nowhere in sight the entire day. Goku wondered where he could have gone. Saiyans from all over the planet came to thank them, and asked them questions about the transformation. Though Goku tried to be vague, he did give a few hints about how to obtain it. Vegeta mostly ignored everyone. The next day, when they were about to leave, Bardock and Guinea finally showed up. Guinea was holding baby Kakarot. Bardock had gone on a ship immediately following the battle and intercepted Kakarot's spaceship, bringing him back to planet Vegeta.
I, just wanted to say thank you, if I could know your name.
Out of the way, low-class scum. You're not worthy enough to talk to the legendary Super Saiyans.
Bardock was going to say something, but Vegeta interrupted him.
I don't recall seeing you up there. In fact, show some respect to the half-breed and low-class Saiyan who helped save your planet.
Vegeta pointed with his thumb behind him, to Trunks and to Goku, and the three walked past Bardock, but he tried to thank them again.
Thank you, Mr.
Don't worry about it. Just promise me something. You'll check up on the Earth every now and again, yeah?
Earth. You mean?
They're gonna go through some hard times without that little one there.
Vegeta glanced over at the baby on Guinea's arm. Bardock was confused, but then got a good look at Goku as he walked past them. It couldn't be, could it? King Vegeta tried to stop them from leaving one more time.
Wait, stop! Don't you see you've doomed us all? By beating Frieza and leaving, all you do is leave us with another horrible tyrant.
Wait, wasn't there someone with Frieza when I went to Earth? Someone strong?
Vegeta and Goku looked at each other in realization. They had already interfered so much with this timeline, but with a little more hurt? They couldn't do this all for the Saiyans, but maybe they could still help a little. The three turned around smirking. Vegeta was the one to step up front and say,
Alright, you're weaklings now. No way you can take on King Cold and the rest. And we won't do it for you, but we can train you a little.
The Saiyans cheered happily, and Vegeta couldn't help but get a slight smile on his face. Finally, Trunks, Goku, and now him had gotten all to defeat Frieza. But Bardock was completely focused on Goku's face. Regardless of who this person was, they were their only hope against King Cold. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you want a part 2. And don't forget to click the bell icon so you'll get notified when I upload new videos. Shout out to these guys who answered the Dragon Ball question of the week last week. This time, the Dragon Ball question of the week is, if you were a Saiyan, what would your Saiyan name be? Remember, most Saiyans have names that are based off of vegetables. Leave your answers in the comments below and you may appear in the next video. Anyways, guys, until we meet again. See ya!
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to SmugStick, unless you want to be destroyed. Lord Beerus, that's hardly fair. But also, don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified when he uploads new videos.